Shocking secrets. Why God chose a prostitute as the wife of prophet Hosea. Few knew what truly happened that night in Israel. A sordid tale of love, betrayal, and divine command. The air was thick with tension, as the people whispered in hushed tones. They felt the change in the atmosphere. They could sense that something monumental was about to unfold. Across the dusty town of Gilead, a prophet received an unexpected message from the Almighty. Go, take for yourself a wife of whoredom. God's voice boomed in Hosea's heart, settling deeply into his bones like an unshakable truth. But why? Why choose a woman steeped in shame? This was a startling demand, the kind that sent shivers down the spine. The context was nothing less than critical. Israel was at a moral crossroads. Corruption painted every corner. Temples filled with idol worshippers. Justice staggered under the weight of greed. Hosea, a mere voice amidst chaos, felt the purpose behind that command. He knew his path was about to twist into something unimaginable. But could he really embrace it? The moment he set eyes on Gomer, the woman he was destined to marry, his heart raced. Her gaze was piercing yet haunted, reflecting the scars of her past. Long hair swayed like shadows around her face. A beautiful enigma cloaked in sorrow. She was no ordinary woman. As the days unfolded, contradictions piled upon one another. Gomer's laughter rang through streets tainted with whispers. It hung heavy like smoke. Could love blossom amid such ruin? Hosea struggled, torn between devotion and despair. How could a prophet, a man of God, find hope in such a life? And yet, every encounter with Gomer revealed layers of vulnerability she wore like armor. Her cruel choices wrapped around her like chains. With each meeting, Hosea's heart twisted. Would the cracks in her spirit heal under the weight of his love? Predictions loomed ominously as Gomer's past lurked in the shadows. Each day brought new challenges, new doubts. A storm brewed on the horizon. The people watched with wide eyes, mouths agape. They whispered their judgments. What scandal will unfold next? They mused. Indeed, this relationship challenged every social norm. Could divine love flourish in depths of despair? Or was Hosea fighting a losing battle? Could he save her from herself? Their story fashioned a tapestry of extravagant grace. A blend of heartache and hope. A prophetic journey that echoed through time. But as they stood on the brink of an everlasting promise, uncertainty loomed. Was love powerful enough to overcome a shattered past? Or would it break like glass, scattering the remnants of their dreams? Hey, before we continue with this amazing story, I need to give you an important heads up. Many subscribers have reported that YouTube unsubscribed them without warning. Take a quick second to check the red button below to make sure you're still subscribed to the channel. I'd hate for you to miss any of the exclusive content coming soon. And while you're there, smash that like button, it really helps me out with the algorithm. Oh, and tell me in the comments, which city are you watching from? I love getting to know every amazing person who's part of this community. Your participation makes all the difference. Let's connect. As dawn broke over the hills of Gilead, the sun cast a soft, golden hue upon the land, shrouding the unresolved turmoil that lingered in the hearts of its people. Hosea rose before the first light, his thoughts heavy with the weight of his calling. He wandered through the silent streets, contemplating the road ahead, pathways lined with uncertainty stretching out like the horizon before him. In those early moments, the stillness wrapped around him, broken only by the distant call of a mourning dove. Hosea's heart was entrapped in a battle between divine instruction and human emotion. He longed for clarity, yet found himself buried in the complexity of love tangled with pain. Was it truly possible to lift Gomer from the depths of despair and into the warmth of redemption? Every glance, every fleeting touch felt like a thread weaving their destinies together. Yet, lurking beneath the surface of their connection were specters of past choices, shadows that threatened to unravel their bond. Days turned into weeks, and with each passing moment, the whispers of the townsfolk grew louder. She is unclean, they breathed in disdain, casting Gomer as an outcast. They shook their heads in judgment, their hearts hardened by the stains of her history. And yet, their words were no true reflection of her spirit. Hosea witnessed glimpses of strength within her frailty, moments when the sorrow would flicker, and a light of resilience would shine through. One day, as the sun cast long shadows across the town, Hosea found Gomer by the riverbank, her laughter mingling with the water's gentle song. In that space between earth and sky, she had fashioned a small bouquet of wildflowers, unwittingly brightening the gloom that had clouded his heart. Hosea approached her cautiously, the words of God echoing in his mind, urging him to understand the heart of his beloved not merely as a wife but as a flawed and cherished soul. Gomer, he began, his voice a delicate thread pulling at the fabric of uncertainty. What do you see when you look in the mirror? Her laughter stilled, replaced by a shadow that slipped over her eyes. She glanced downstream, avoiding the intensity of his gaze. I see a woman unworthy of love, she replied softly, her voice trembling. A tempest of mistakes and heartache. Hosea stepped closer, reaching out to clasp her hand in his. But, dear heart, the Lord sees more than our mistakes. He sees the beauty woven through our struggles. You are not defined by your past, you are a vessel of His grace, just as I am. In that sacred moment, the air pulsed with revelation, and the waters of the river seemed to swell with anticipation. Everything around them stilled. But could words alone untangle the intricacies of Gomer's heart? Would the echoes of doubt recede, or would they linger like shadows? The weight of his promise flickered like a candle in the wind, vulnerable yet resolute. Days later, the townspeople gathered, speaking in hurried tones about a looming festival. They planned to worship at the altars adorned with offerings, a sacred time meant to reaffirm their faith. Yet, Hosea sensed disquiet. The rituals were less about worship and more entwined with hollow tradition. He felt the pulse of God's heart calling him deeper. Hosea approached Gomer once more as evening approached, the sky ablaze with hues of orange and pink, a reminder of the beauty that coexists with chaos. Will you come with me to the festival? He asked, watching her expression shift between hope and fear. I want you to know that we go together, hand in hand, without shame. A question lingered in the air, heavy and unresolved. Could they, amidst the judgment and scars of the past, share a space of acceptance in front of those who would never understand? Would embracing each other's flaws become a testimony of God's unfathomable mercy? Or would the sting of ridicule tear through the fragile unity they were beginning to form? As the fireflies danced in the twilight, light flickering against the darkening sky, Hosea felt an uncertainty. Could love transcend the remnants of past choices? Or would the judgments of the world drown their budding trust? The journey ahead held countless unanswered questions, leaving both a whisper of hope and a shadow of despair echoing in their hearts. Evening descended over Gilead, the gentle hum of cicadas filling the air as the stars began to blink awake in the vast expanse above. Hosea stood at the edge of their home, gazing into the distance. The upcoming festival loomed large in his mind, a convergence of faith and fear. As he pondered the significance of their journey together, the townspeople buzzed with anticipation, preparing offerings adorned with the finest grains and fruits. Yet with each cheerful shout and laugh, Hosea felt a tightening in his chest. The collective worship felt laced with an unspoken judgment, as if some hearts sought to condemn, rather than truly celebrate. Could he truly guide Gomer through the labyrinth of scorn that awaited them? He turned to find Gomer immersed in her thoughts, her face a canvas of uncertainty under the soft light of the moon. What burdens you, my love? He asked, stepping closer to gauge the tides of her heart. She looked up, her eyes glimmering like the stars themselves, yet shrouded in the weight of impending pressures. I'm afraid, Hosea, she confessed, her voice barely a whisper. What if they cast me out in their disdain? To stand before them, to reveal who I am, feels like stepping into a storm with no shelter. Hosea felt the ache of her fears resonate within him. He understood all too well the voices that would rise in judgment, the echoes of past transgressions, the malicious stares. Yet he also understood the call of God, to love without condition, to reveal the depth of grace offered to the broken. Remember, Gomer, he began,